Is Arne Slot cracking under the pressure? Have Arsenal broke him? Has this massive summer of spending, has the expectation of retaining that Premier League title cracked him, broken him, and left him yabbering all kind of nonsense as he's desperate to find a solution for Liverpool? That's the narrative. That's not a statement from me. They're the narratives running today because of some of these clips I'm about to show you now. I want your thoughts, I want your feelings, I want your opinions. Is he jabbering on? Is he waffling? Is he panicking? Has he been broken? Or do you actually think what he's saying holds a lot of water? Is it sensible? Does it make sense? We're going to delve into it in more detail, plus an interesting video from Big Steve as well in relation to Arsenal. Obviously, Liverpool have a massive, massive game this weekend against Manchester United. I'm previewing that tomorrow, so keep your eyes out for it. But like, subscribe. Can't wait to read your comments below. Give the video a hype as well. Plus, scan that QR code and go check out my main channel, the Football Terrace. That's where all our live podcasts, live match reaction shows all sit and are housed. But let's take a look at what's making everybody lose their minds online today. Let's take a little listen.
This season, we haven't had that many special moments. Special, what I mean is an act of brilliance.
It's really interesting that professional managers talk about this. All teams that win, all successful teams, need moments of brilliance on a regular basis. Whether it's the goalkeepers making great saves, defenders making great tackles, great blocks, stopping goals from going in that you expect to go in. David De Gea at Man United was a prime example. The amount of times in his pomp where you as a fan, you know that moment when your heart sinks and you go, oh, because you've conceded in your mind. David De Gea would somehow stop that ball from going in and you would celebrate it. You add that to a well-structured team, as Liverpool generally are, it helps put you up the table. Players that score those half chances on a fairly regular basis, Mo Salah being one of them. Alexander Isak can do it. Remember the goal Isak scored against Liverpool last season? Takes it on the half turn. He's about 25 yards out, bang, into that top corner. You need that as a football team from 2, 3, 4, 5 players most weeks in their respective positions. That, first of all, 10 seconds in, that doesn't sound like someone who's broken. That's highly logical. The problem is the modern day football fan has had that beaten out of them by foolishness online. We've had it beaten out of us that moments of brilliance are a good thing in football and a necessity. So no matter how good your system is.
And we haven't scored from a set piece. If you would tell me that we've conceded...
Before anyone jumps on it, he's talking from a free kick or a corner, not the set piece, as in a direct free kick that Szoboszlai scored.
40% of our goals from set pieces, and the number one in the league has scored 60% of their goals from set pieces, and we're still 1 point behind that team. I would probably think that's not even that bad. We've played 10.
It's a really interesting point, though. I didn't realise until he said that Liverpool have conceded 40% of their goals have been conceded via set pieces, which is quite a lot. He made a claim there that Arsenal have scored 60% of their goals from set pieces. Now, I'm not sure if that's true. It might be. I know we spoke about this the other day. I don't quite remember the exact number. I'm just looking now. Just for some clarity, it's 50% from set pieces that they've scored, so not 60%. But I do agree with him. He hasn't lost the. He's not. Some Arsenal fans online have taken this as a dig. Oh, he's rattled. We're breaking him, Terry. He's losing his mind. He's having a go at us, saying we've scored 60% of our goals from set pieces. I don't really think he's got the number wrong, which is. Happens, okay? And I didn't even remember it. I had to look, and I'm sure he has a lot more important things on his mind than worrying about Arsenal's set piece percentage, goals percentage. But I agree with his overarching point that Liverpool are not in this catastrophic position people are making out. And I've read an article today from Jamie Carragher where I think he's going so far over the top, talking and acting like they're in damage control, like things are really, really wrong at the moment, and if they don't buck their ideas up in the next game or two, the entire season could implode. I understand they've got to get back to winning ways and they've got to perform, but I do think the language around Liverpool is over the top. I think it's hyperbole, and they're trying to create, and I'm surprised Carragher's doing it, they're trying to create a little bit of turmoil. Now, I want to see the turmoil at Liverpool, but I'm just pointing out what I think and feel I'm hearing.
Games this season, won 7, lost 3. And the free.
It's mad, isn't it? 10 games, won 7 of them, lost 3, and everyone's writing Liverpool off. I'm not.
We've lost by very close margins twice in the last minute, and once both teams got a penalty. Both times the VAR should have overturned that decision, but only the one we got was overturned. So the margins are small, but
It's really interesting there. I mean, I don't. The penalty they concede is a penalty in Europe. The penalty that's the only bit I really disagree with. Galatasaray's penalty they conceded to Liverpool was never a penalty because the player wins the ball. It's just not a penalty. I think the penalty Galatasaray get is very soft. You don't get them in the Premier League, but you do in Europe. So that's the only element I kind of disagree with. Some will say, Terry, but you're a man that talks about performance. And I do. And I don't disagree with anybody that Liverpool have got to improve their performances. I think this is essential for them to win the league. They haven't been as bad in every game as people are making out, though, either. On the other side of the argument, this is why I think there's a lot of hyperbole. I think there's a lot of exaggeration. Atletico Madrid, as an example, stands out of a game they played brilliantly in. They were very good against Burnley. They just found it hard to break down that low block and punish them. But just go back and watch the last-ditch blocks and the saves that were being made to keep it at 0-0 until the dying moments. I thought they were actually very good against Bournemouth, who were a brilliant side, leading 2-0. Bournemouth should have gone down to 10 men early in the game because they were ripping them apart. They conceded a couple of goals. I think one of them might have even deflected, but a really good counter-attack. But then they refocused and went and scored 2 more goals. So just naming a couple of... That's 3 of the 7 games, by the way. Galatasaray, the second half I thought they were poor, but in the first half, really and truly, they should have scored a few good few goals. A real good few goals. I didn't think they were absolutely dreadful in that game. Second half, maybe. Palace first half awful. Second half they were excellent. I think they ended up having more attempts on goal, more chances than Crystal Palace, but they could have been 3 or 4-0 down. The game against Chelsea. Listen, they went away to Chelsea. And Chelsea are a really good team. They are world champions. And I didn't like the subs and the way they played in the last 20 minutes of the game, Liverpool. But it's sort of, I'm watching it as a rival watching, and I don't think they were as dross as people were making out. But can they improve? Absolutely. I don't think there is an argument against it. But what I will say is I've been sent this clip about 8 or 9 times today. Terry, can you react to it? Terry, listen, and I'm the first person, and I'm going to play you a different clip in a minute where I think some people are rattled by Arsenal. If people are rattled by Arsenal, rattled by Liverpool, rattled by Man United, I'll give you my view on it. I don't think Arne Slot is. What I find very interesting about what Arne Slot is talking about is when you're winning and at the top, if he said these things, and they were playing well and he said these things, everyone would go, he's right. As soon as you start losing, people don't care about fine margins. They don't care about refereeing decisions. They don't care about injury issues. They don't care about moments of brilliance. Everything's just performance only. And again, I don't believe in results-based analysis every time. I don't just believe in looking at the performance every time. There's nuance. You have to have these conversations. And I do think people are going over the top with Liverpool. And yes, there's all those claims I mentioned at the start of the video. I don't think he's broken. He doesn't even look that stressed to me. But I'd love to get your views. I'd love to get your opinions on that in the comment section below. Now, I want to play him another clip. This is Big Steve. And I want to play this clip because I got a lot of time for Steve. Me and Steve used to work together regularly on the Straight Facts. He was on here for a good 18 months, 2 years. I've been sent this clip as well, and I've listened to it, and it is funny. I enjoy the sort of rant from him. But I want you to take a listen, and I want to talk about... I'm going to defend him, and I'm going to criticise a part of what he said as well. But let's take a little listen. There's an area I'm going to defend him in as well. Let's take a little look.
Everyone is scared of Arsenal. Literally nobody is fucking scared of Arsenal, mate. Literally nobody. Nobody. I've not once had one sleepless night over...
See, I don't necessarily agree with that, right? I don't necessarily agree that he's never had any sleepless night. You know, ever. Because City have had a brilliant last 15 years. A brilliant last 15 years or so, going from a mid-table and relegation side always in the Premier League to a team winning everything. They've had the best team in Europe for me in the last decade of football. I think they've been amazing. But let's not pretend when Arsenal stuck 5 past them back in 2000 and 2001 season, the season they got relegated when Arsenal went on to win the league. Let's not pretend that they weren't shitting it going to the Emirates. It wouldn't have been. It would have Highbury that night before. The City fans, especially of Steve's age and older, have definitely had sleepless nights against Arsenal. Let's not limit Arsenal's history, the same as we shouldn't limit any club's history until the last 3 or 4 years. That's a madness to me.
Arsenal, Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, many a sleepless night. Arsenal, don't talk shit. Arsenal have never done anything remotely bad to hurt me or any Man City fan, ever.
Well, they have. They battered you in the season you got relegated. And one thing I will push back on, I get what Steve's doing here. Steve is one of the best in the business at having a pop, winding up a fan base, reeling them in, throwing out a little rage bait for them, and that's fine. Fans are meant to do this. They are meant to do it as long as they can take it back. What I will say is this. It's just for the one thing I'm pushing back on, the only thing I'm pushing back on, and I get this is for fun. I'm just saying though in general, enjoy the fun. I know what's coming. They beat us 5-1, but they didn't win the league, so it doesn't matter. Are we, and I want to get your opinions on this because I could be wrong. Are we really now saying that if you lose a football match badly, or lose a football match by a narrow margin, if you lose a football match badly, but the team that beats you doesn't go on to win the league, are we really saying that defeat doesn't hurt anymore? Are we really saying that defeat means absolutely nothing? A genuine question. Genuine question. Because I ask it because when Liverpool, and I want to make sure I'm getting my dates right, when Liverpool beat Manchester United in the 22-23 season, the year that Man City went on to win the league, Man City won the league, unless I'm totally mistaken, I swear Man City won the league that year. And this is why I sometimes get confused, and I get that there's banter in this, right? So you don't need to write that in there. I'm checking it with City in case I got it wrong. It was. I mean, Liverpool came 5th that season, by the way. United finished above them. Why is it that people still speak about the 7-0, even though United finished above Liverpool, we won a trophy, and they came 5th? It's still discussed. It still hurts us. So this is where I would say is that I do think people are rattled by Arsenal being good this season. I do think there's people that are rattled by Arsenal looking like they might go on to win something. Where I'm going to defend Big Steve, though, this clip's had a lot of people have a pop at him for having a replica trophy behind him. Now, my replica trophies are for my studio, and I'm sure they're exactly the same as Big Steve. I'm sure Big Steve, I've actually got a trophy cabinet with all the stuff I won in my kickboxing and my fighting and my karate days. I had that on display in my little man cave because that's my achievements. This is a set. Steve hasn't got that trophy there behind him as an achievement he has made. It's a footballing set. So this is where I want to... Listen, I'll criticize opinions. I'll say I don't believe quite in what someone's saying. But the nonsense I've seen Big Steve get this week for having a trophy behind him is crazy. Now, I'm not defending it because I have trophies. I have these trophies as a set. I wouldn't go out and buy a replica Euros or a replica World Cup and put it up in my bedroom at 39 years of age. And I'm sure Big Steve wouldn't do the same. But it's because he's one of the leading sort of YouTube content creators and influencers out there in the football space, especially in the Man City space, and it's decorative. I don't really get the issue people have with, BT Sport have trophies in there. What have BT Sports won in football? They're not even a fan. They're a broadcaster. They have trophies on their sets. It's kind of weird that people have been calling that out. But look, as I say, is Arne Slot rattled by Arsenal right now? Are they making him break? No. I'll reiterate that again. I don't think so. Do I agree with what Steve's saying here? Equally, the answer's no. The answer is no. I do think that we all give each other sleepless nights at times or hurt each other in seasons. I get Steve's shield, and a lot of football fans do what Steve said here now is, well, if you beat me, even if it's badly, if you don't go on to win the trophy, if you don't go on to achieve anything that year, which is trophy-wise, that means that win is insignificant and meant nothing. No, I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Absolutely disagree with it wholeheartedly. Because that essentially means that all but one team's games in the Premier League every season mean nothing. I don't agree with it. But as ever, people, I can't wait to read your thoughts, feelings, and opinions in the comments section below. Take care.